Drake just fired his own booking agent because he also represents Kendrick Lamar. Hip-hop beef just turned into a business war. So what is this exactly? I'm hearing that academics is trying to confirm that the Iceman Tour is already set for 2026. Is that really the case? I have a couple quick questions that need addressing. How can he confirm a 2026 Iceman Tour when Drake hasn't even released the album yet? He's been dropping breadcrumbs and cryptic messages through you and other streamers to build anticipation for the rollout, but we're still waiting. There isn't another episode, the album isn't here, and now we're being told the tour is already locked in? Come on, what's going on? This is classic pre-rollout marketing strategy, but it's getting ahead of itself. We've seen artists announce tours before albums drop, sure, but usually there's at least a single out, some momentum building. Right now, we're operating purely on speculation and hype generated through secondary sources. It's an interesting approach, but it raises questions about whether these tour plans are concrete or just wishful thinking being floated to gauge interest. Drake is supposedly preparing to go on tour again after releasing Iceman, and because those plans aren't fully finalized yet, he's removing all ops from around him. He doesn't want anyone on his team who works with Kendrick or is close to Kendrick. None of that. So he's clearing out any fake friends or conflicted connections. This is where things get interesting from a business psychology perspective. When you're at Drake's level, trust becomes everything. Your team has access to sensitive information, tour routing, pricing strategies, marketing plans, release dates, and financial projections. If someone on your team is also working with your direct competitor, that creates a vulnerability. Whether or not that vulnerability is ever exploited is almost beside the point. The mere possibility can create paranoia and second-guessing. Drake is likely gearing up to break the worldwide touring record, or at least aiming for it. Remember, Kendrick didn't break Drake's U.S. record of 350. Kendrick broke the worldwide touring record for rappers. Kendrick holds the highest grossing global rap tour, while Drake still holds the record for a North American tour. Drake wants to surpass the world record going into next year. Let's put this in perspective. Breaking a worldwide touring record isn't just about ego, though that's certainly part of it. It's about legacy, about cementing your position in hip-hop history. These numbers get cited for decades. They become part of your Wikipedia page, your biography, your Rock and Roll Hall of Fame induction speech. For someone as competitive as Drake, having Kendrick hold that worldwide record has to sting. It's a constant reminder every time someone brings up touring stats. And think about what it takes to break a worldwide record. You're not just doing North America and calling it a day. You're hitting Europe, Australia, Asia, South America, Africa, if possible. You're dealing with different currencies, different venue capacities, different markets with varying levels of enthusiasm for your music. It's a massive logistical undertaking that requires meticulous planning and a team you can trust implicitly. And in his mind, if he's going to have an agent, that agent is definitely not going to represent his opposition. So allegedly, Drake looked over his booking agents one day and noticed that one of them also represents Kendrick Lamar. It bothered him that a professional working for him was also working for one of his biggest rivals. So he fired him. Apparently, Drake dropped his booking agent because that agent also represents Kendrick. There's a lot of drama and tea here, because it clearly shows these guys do not mess with each other. But beyond hurt feelings, some see this as a conflict of interest. You can't work for me and my opponent at the same time. Now, let me give you some context here. In the entertainment industry, it's actually extremely common for agents to represent multiple clients who might be considered competitors. It's the nature of the business. These major agencies have rosters of hundreds of artists, many of whom operate in the same genres, target the same demographics, and compete for the same festival slots and radio play. Remember when I covered YoungBoy being represented by Drew Findling, and then Findling showed up also being a lawyer for Lil Durk? Same kind of situation. So, the same lawyer who helped get YoungBoy free is also the lawyer for Lil Durk. You'll see lawyers working for artists who don't like each other. That's normal. But when it comes to agents, it's different. Let me break down the business side. So it's clear, Drake isn't picking up a phone personally saying, "I'm doing this show." There's an agent who does all of that behind the scenes. The biggest agencies include UTA, CAA, WME, Wasserman, and a few other major players. These agencies are entertainment powerhouses. They don't just book tours, they negotiate endorsement deals, secure brand partnerships, arrange speaking engagements, and manage entire career trajectories. When you sign with one of these agencies, you're not just getting a booking agent. You're getting access to an entire network of industry connections, marketing expertise, and strategic planning. How do they get paid? They work on percentages. For example, if they book $100 million in performances, they take around 10%, so they make $10 million. And these companies often book far more. CAA is likely booking billions in business each year, bringing in hundreds of millions in revenue. Think about that for a second. A single agency can be pulling in hundreds of millions of dollars annually just from their cut of deals. That's why they compete so aggressively for top-tier talent. Landing someone like Drake or Kendrick isn't just about prestige. It's about guaranteed revenue streams that require relatively minimal effort once the initial relationship is established. A booking agent, and not just a regular one, but a top-tier talent agent, earns from every major deal. To give you an example, with my Spotify deal, I was represented by UTA. I'm transparent about it. There's nothing to hide. Whatever the final multimillion-dollar number was from Spotify, UTA podcast got a percentage, typically around 10%. My guy over there negotiates some of the biggest podcast deals, including Call Her Daddy, so he earns his cut. The same system applies to artists when they book shows, speaking engagements, and other opportunities. Now look at Drake. When he books a $320 million tour, if you're his booking agent, you're getting a nearly free $30 million into your company because Drake essentially sells himself. Live Nation already has him under major tour agreements. They handle the heavy lifting. The agent barely has to move a finger. This is the golden ticket in the booking agency world. You land a client who's so massive, so proven, so bankable that venues and promoters are competing to book them. The agent isn't cold calling venues or pitching why Drake should headline. The venues are coming to them, begging for dates, offering premium deals. It's almost passive income at that level. They only really step in if Drake takes a one-off performance, but Drake rarely does those. He's not doing Rolling Loud or random festivals. He mostly does his own tours, and that's it. There was an agent named Brent Smith who moved over to one of these major agencies, and they represent huge artists. I don't believe Travis Scott is one of them, but they work with artists of that caliber. I needed to check who Brent Smith actually represents. He handles major acts, and remember, this is in 2023 with an unparalleled global reach. His work has propelled blockbuster tours with some of the most influential artists in the world, including Kendrick Lamar. So Drake realized that his own agent was also representing Kendrick. And while there's likely more behind-the-scenes drama we don't know about, Drake reportedly dropped him as his agent because of that conflict. Sure, if it makes Drake feel better, he can do that. But what does it really accomplish? Apparently, word of Drake's decision has already been circulated within top-tier booking agency circles. People are taking it as a message. If you want to work with Drake, you can't be working with Kendrick. But honestly, I doubt Kendrick cares. He's not out here firing people for associating with Drake. What is this, high school? This is where the optics get interesting. By making this move public, or at least letting it leak to the industry, Drake is essentially drawing a line in the sand. He's saying choose a side. In some ways, it's a power move. It forces agents to consider. Is representing Kendrick worth potentially losing access to Drake? For some agents, the answer might be yes. For others, Drake's touring revenue might be too lucrative to risk. According to academics, one possible motive is concern that this reputable booking agent could leak strategic information to Kendrick, details about upcoming plans or tour moves. But to be fair, there hasn't been any sign of that happening. So this is really speculation. Let's be real here. Professional agents at this level have too much to lose by leaking confidential information. Their entire reputation, their ability to sign future clients, their standing within their agency, all of it depends on discretion and trustworthiness. One confirmed leak, and their career could be over. No major artist would touch them again. And let me be clear, I'm talking insider business here, and this is a big story. I've spoken to people at CAA, UTA, Wasserman, and WME, and they're all buzzing about it. Brent Smith represented both Kendrick and Drake. Some insiders believe he may have used data from Drake's touring, like which markets work best, to help negotiate an incredible deal for Kendrick and position him in those same markets. Not that anything improper is confirmed, but that's the chatter. The theory goes like this. If you know that Drake sold out 3 nights in a specific city at a certain price point, you can use that data to argue that Kendrick could do the same or better in that market. You can identify underserved markets where there's clearly demand for hip-hop at the arena or stadium level. You can avoid markets that underperformed. It's strategic intelligence that could theoretically provide an advantage. But here's the thing, that kind of data isn't exactly top secret. Billboard publishes touring grosses. Polestar tracks ticket sales. Industry publications report on which shows sold well and which didn't. Any competent booking agent has access to market research and historical performance data. The idea that Kendrick's team needed inside information from Drake's tours to plan their own successful tour is, frankly, insulting to Kendrick's team and their capabilities. After Kendrick executed the massive GNX tour, Drake cut ties with Brent Smith. Essentially, I'm good. I don't want to work with you if you're working with my op. Some may call that petty, but others think it's fair. You don't want someone who has all your internal data also supporting your biggest rival. It's like that Kevin Gates quote, "The right hand shouldn't let the left hand know what it's doing." But is Drake that worried about Kendrick's next move? Kendrick hasn't said a single word about Drake since the battle ended. He hasn't said anything. No cryptic messages, no hints through streamers, no comment from a circle, nothing. Kendrick is finishing his tour, has a few more dates left, and then he's moving on with his life. This is actually the most devastating response Kendrick could have. Silence. Complete and total silence. While Drake is allegedly restructuring his team, firing agents, and planning massive record-breaking tours, Kendrick is just quiet. He's letting his work speak for itself. He's selling out stadiums without saying a word about Drake. He's breaking records without needing to reference the beef. That's power. But you, my friend, seem very concerned, extremely concerned, about what his next move might be. And he already made it clear, no round 2. So what move are you worried about? It feels like you want a rematch, like you're looking for some way to redeem yourself. You even tried a lawsuit that went nowhere, but hey, good luck with that appeal. Here's the critical question. Why would Kendrick need your arena tour data? He's doing stadiums. You're doing arenas. Why would he need to pull information from you? He's not some new artist. He's built a massive fan base over years, with his own data, his own numbers, and his own proven touring success. This is the elephant in the room. Kendrick has been headlining major festivals for years. He's done multiple successful tours. He has a dedicated team with their own relationships, their own track record, their own proven strategies. The idea that they needed a spy on Drake's operation to figure out how to tour successfully is absurd. Kendrick's tour management team isn't new to the game either. They have access to the same tools, platforms, and resources for promoting tours that you do, if not more. In fact, Kendrick's team has demonstrated they might actually be better at certain aspects of touring strategy. They've shown an ability to create moments, to generate organic buzz, to make each show feel like an event. They don't need Drake's playbook because they've written their own. But maybe I'm looking at this the wrong way. You tell me. Drop your thoughts in the comments. Let's talk about it. Is this a smart business move by Drake, protecting his interests and eliminating potential conflicts? Or is this insecurity manifesting as corporate paranoia? Can both things be true at once? What we're witnessing is the intersection of art, business, ego, and competition at the highest level. Both artists are operating in rarefied air where every decision gets scrutinized, every move gets analyzed, and every piece of industry gossip becomes a story. The question is, when the dust settles and both tours are complete, will any of this have actually mattered? Or will it just be another chapter in hip-hop's endless saga of competitive drama? One thing's for certain. The culture is watching, the industry is talking, and both Drake and Kendrick know that their next moves will be judged not just on artistic merit, but on commercial success, strategic brilliance, and who ultimately comes out on top in this ongoing competition for rap supremacy.